Hey, Jeff Howard here at Kiteboarding.com and Wingboarding.com. And I got to tell you, just recently we've been getting a lot of questions about inflatable stand-up foil boards. So I got to tell you, do you need an inflatable? Should you get an inflatable? Well, let me tell you a little bit. I put some time on these. So what I do is I dedicate myself to one of these boards and I put a lot of time in on it in comparison, and I want to share that information with you. So what I've come down to find out is the numbers that have come onto these boards are a little bit different in size-wise and stability, and everybody's going off of a liter number. So my first thing is I thought I was going to go out on a 100-liter board, and this thing, it felt to me that it was going to be small, and it could be unstable, and I wasn't sure. I got to tell you, I was completely wrong. Inflatable boards I have found so far, riding the Nash, the Slingshot, and a few other prototypes from other brands when they first started coming out, I wanted to get my foot on. They are way more stable. So, and I say way more, you'll get a build-up board and the thing's got a little wobble to it. You get something in the same size range. The liters, they may show up a little bit more because how thick they are, but it ended up being more stable. Now, that was my personal opinion on it, and I wanted to get out there and try so I could hand that information over. So with that, I would tell you, definitely look at the size-wise, a little bit smaller than what you would think if you wanted that stability. So if you wanted to go, let's say Slingshot has a 90-liter board, and it's pretty small, but you're going to be very surprised how stable that board is. Now, what are the other benefits for an inflatable to a full construction build out? First off, I got to tell you this. You can bounce these around, you can beat their edges, and you're not going to get cracks in these things. They'll take a lot of abuse, and that is really cool. This is something we're using in our schools for sure. The reason is we're not getting dings and scratches and everything else, and these things are lightweight in comparison to their size. So it ended up being worked really well with our students because of the durability. So if you're out there learning or teaching, or you're in an area that's kind of rough and everything else, that's one of the benefits. It's really cool with these inflatable boards that I really like about it. So you got stability for one, and then you've got the durability to be able to handle some abuse and everything else out there. I'll tell you, you want to teach kids, get them on these. It's awesome. The other benefit that I found is the soft deck. It's amazingly soft. Yes, they have a little bit of flex underfoot to them. It all depends on how hard you pump these things. You can get these things rock solid. Most of these are actually rated almost up to 20 PSI. And when you take one of these boards at a 6-inch drop stitch and pump up that hard, I gotta tell you, it feels like it's a rock. And there is no flex to that board whatsoever in the new type inflatable boards. So I tell you, you can pump them up and get them there, but they're very comfortable to stand on and ride for long periods of time. Now, the other thing, what made the inflatable board really come into the market and start working, my opinion, is this plate. Everything has changed. All of them have now changed their plate length. When you change the plate length and you get it out to where your front feet are, some of the earlier ones were a little bit short, and if you put your front foot out too far, you'll get a little bit of flex in the board. There is no flex. They do not flex anymore. It is amazing how stable, how solid feel that these inflatable boards have. And I tell you, I'm out there riding it in all the conditions that I would ride my standard board in, my built-up board in, putting the time in to really feel, and it's no big deal to me. It just feels like it's lighter weight underneath foot, which is true. But this plate is the whole key. Now, they've changed some of the plates. As you see here, the Slingshot, they have a handle in theirs. That's a neat little addition onto it. I've been riding on one of the Nash ones. It's kind of the first ones we got in here and started spending some time on. I've also spent time on the Slingshots. And it's not a big deal to me not having the handle grip, but it is an addition to it that is really nice, kind of how you pick it up and you quickly get to the water. I come to find out the way I carry my foil is I grab it by the mast and put it over my shoulder and I walk out instead of just hanging off to the side. But it's just how you happen to do that. So they do have a handle on the top. That definitely helps out. So if I'm carrying it and the foil is kind of behind me a little bit and it sticks out on this side, So is that a big thing? It's to me, it's not. Now you'll also see that this is the Nash, and it doesn't have any strap inserts. And the Slingshot, they have put it on there. I call that just an addition. I don't ride with straps and pads. Some people like to guide the board a little bit more and say they need it. So this is a really cool little addition onto that. Again, I've ridden this board a lot. I haven't put straps on it. I'm not going to be jumping my inflatable. I don't care to go do that. I'm out there wanting to surf and be able to just get it out of the water. Doesn't matter if I have straps on it or not. That's just my personal type of riding. Some people do. So Slingshot has that on there. It's a really neat little addition on there. Now, I want to get down to it. A lot of people talked about flex. Size-wise, I've talked a little bit about size. As you can see, this is a 140. And instead of making them longer and longer, they've got the surface area in there. And I got to tell you, again, they are very, very stable for their size. So you can see how you can easily learn. You can stand up on this. I could stand up on this without even moving, and I could probably have a kid on it with me, just hanging out on there foiling. Rocker and how they launch from the water or water starting an inflatable. That is about the only main difference that I have found out is water starting. They have a little bit more water tension to them when they're on that water to get up on foil. Is it a lot to worry about? No, I have not had any issues. I've taken it out with some guys who are riding something else, and I say, try this and get back with me. And it's on one of those things, well, I kind of felt it, but it wasn't enough to make a difference. Like, am I going to ride an inflatable or am I going to ride the construction? Am I going to know the difference between those two? It gives you a little bit, but not a lot. The other factor that made a big difference in winging one of the inflatables, and you'll come to find out if you get on one, is because of their weight. They're so lightweight. It's mainly air in there, obviously, but the nose of these boards have no mass to them. There's nothing. So what will happen is you'll all of a sudden pump up on foil and the nose will rise out because you're used to having that mass out on the nose of a board, and it just comes up and that foil just pulls it up. So you're going to want to have a little bit more forward pressure. As soon as you pump it out of the water, you're going to jump onto the front and get your foil flying. Again, there's no mass, so it's really cool in that type of deal. So I want to talk about the cool parts about and why people, I think, would choose an inflatable. An inflatable is great for traveling. Let's say you got a small car and you want to get into winging. Believe me, unless you get a rack and you want to strap your board up on top of there, make sure it's covered if you do that. But if you have an inflatable, it goes down into a bag like this. That's how thick it is. So it's really cool that you can collapse this whole thing down, let the air out, and because it's so tiny, it inflates very fast. The inflation time on this, even with the hand pump, was like 2-3 minutes. It's no big deal. But Nash's folds down into a bag that size. Slingshot, they have theirs. It's a little bit wider in here. So you just basically fold the board. This is a 140 liter and it fits into this bag that you can just stick onto your back. That is the coolest thing about the inflatable side of things, is the travel availability. You get your foil, break it down in that bag, put one of these boards into one of these, go wherever the heck you want to go. Put this on a sailboat, put this in a little car. Now you're into winging. Everything is possible. And I will tell you, they are a lot of fun to ride. You can do anything and everything on these boards as well as the other ones. So that is a really cool situation. I hope this helped everybody out. They wonder if you can learn on it. Absolutely, you can learn on it. These boards make it so easy. As I said, we put them into our schools. I think I've answered most of the questions. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate. Down in the video, please put some questions in there. Write us. Price-wise, you're looking a little bit less than a build-up construction type board. So one may be in the $1,500 range and one's going to be in the $1,100 to $1,200 range. And I bet there's going to be some stuff coming out that's definitely going to be a little bit lower in those price ranges. But getting a good quality drop stitch board and having a good, you get to looking at these boards, make sure they have that long plate on them, almost a 36 inches would be my guess on here. But you want these long plates that are on here. The ones that are going to be lower cost or older models have these really short ones, and you get that flex in there no longer. So look at that side. Anyway, that's Jeff Howard here at Wingboarding.com and Kiteboarding.com. Should you get an inflatable stand-up wing board? Yeah, they're a lot of fun and easy to travel with. Hey guys, Jeff here again. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell. It really helps us out in making these videos. Have a great day.